going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 169. I am having a frosty beer, as you can tell, right here. And the reason I'm having a frosty beer at the Nerd Bar is because this is kind of a special episode. This is an all showcase episode. And not only is it an all showcase episode, it's an all Marvel Legends showcase episode. I'm going to be showcasing the entire Thor Ragnarok Marvel Legends wave. I'm going to show you every single figure in that wave, including the Build-A-Figure Gladiator Hulk. I'm also going to be showing you a classic Build-A-Figure from one of the first waves that Hasbro actually had after they took over from Toy Biz. And that Build-A-Figure is the Queen Brood Build-A-Figure. That's all the way back from 2007. So this figure is, what, 10 years old? I remember buying it in the stores, so I feel old now. I'm going to show you the Ego and Starlord Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 2-pack. I'm going to show you the Stealth Suit Captain America Steve Rogers Marvel Legends figure from the Winter Soldier wave, because I just recently bought that one. And then I'm going to end by showcasing the San Diego Comic-Con Thor 5-pack. It's the 5-pack from San Diego Comic-Con with all the Thor figures. So I'm not taking those out of the packaging. I'm going to leave those in the packaging because I personally think it looks fantastic in the packaging, and I kind of want to leave them in there. So I'm going to show you what they look like in the packaging. You can actually see them very, very well. It's got like a double window for each figure. So that is what I will end this video on. But again, this is a special episode, all showcase, all Marvel Legends. Cheers to you for joining me tonight, but let's get started. All right, so I am going to start with this awesome Build-A-Figure. A lot of you may not have seen this because you may not have been collecting Marvel Legends at the time. You might be a new collector or whatnot, but this is all the way back from November of 2007. And this is the Queen Brood Build-A-Figure. Some of the figures that were included in this wave, I believe, were Black Knight, the Colossus from X3, the movie, a Cyclops, a Rachel, a classic Captain America, and a classic Bucky. But this is a pretty awesome looking Build-A-Figure. Let me show you some more details on this. The jaw does open and close, as you can see there. I, however, like to display it with the jaw open. I just think it looks more menacing that way. But this is very, very cool. This is one of those Build-A-Figures that I think you just need in your collection because it's so different. For those that are not aware, the Brood Queen is an X-Men villain. The Brood was an alien race where the X-Men went out into space and they faced these guys. I think the Brood came to Earth a couple times and they faced off with them as well. But yeah, the Brood is an X-Men villain. A little bit more detail on this one. But yes, this is a 10-year-old Build-A-Figure. It is highly recommended. I like this one a lot. This one just looks phenomenal with the paint apps, the sculpt. Just looks very, very cool. Show you the eyes there. But there you go. That is the Queen Brood Build-A-Figure all the way back from 2007. But let's move on to the first figure that I'm going to showcase in this wave. This is the Thor Ragnarok wave, and this is the Jane Foster Thor. Some call her Lady Thor, but I think she's a pretty darn good-looking figure. The only gripe that I have is that the wrist joint on this hand where she holds Mjolnir is kind of loose. So I can't have her raising her arm in the air because her wrist will just go really, really loose and Mjolnir will just like flop out of her hand. So I have to watch the way that I pose her. I'm not sure if anyone else has that same issue. Comment below if you do have that same issue with that wrist joint or this arm in general. I think sculpt-wise she looks fantastic. Pretty dead-on accurate as compared to the comic book. Let me do the 360. Some really cool sculpt work in the cape itself. I'm going to actually show you this one again because in the multi-pack, right there, the San Diego Comic-Con multi-pack, you actually get the Jane Foster Thor in there, but I'm going to show you the differences between this one, the regular pack, and the SDCC version. Next figure in this wave is the Odinson. This is the young Thor before he actually acquired Mjolnir. If you read the Jason Aaron Thor story arc, I think it was called Thor God of Thunder, I believe, but it's written by Jason Aaron, and it was illustrated by Esad Ribic. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But this is the Odinson Thor, and the reason I'm showing you this one here, second, is because I'm going to show you this one again when I compare this to the Thor that you get in the SDCC pack, because this one is very similar. It's actually the same mold, it's just different paint apps. And I'll show you the differences there, but it's a pretty cool looking figure, I gotta say. A lot of people didn't like this one because they said that it's pretty much the same molding and same sculpt as the Sentry figure. I think it does share the same head, possibly the same body. But this is pretty accurate to the comic book, so I do like it. He has Yarnbjorn, that's the name of the axe that he's carrying there. But pretty cool, not too bad. I like the holes and the tattered look in the cape as well. But moving on, here is Ares. This is an awesome, awesome figure. For those that are not aware, this is kind of a retool, remold of the Ares figure that was a Build-A-Figure back in the early days of Hasbro having the Marvel Legends license. I think shortly after the Queen Brood, they did a Ares Build-A-Figure. It was a Walmart exclusive. It was very, very hard to find at the time. And the Build-A-Figure itself, before this wave came out, was going in the upwards of like $200 to $250. So very, very happy that they decided to reissue this as a single pack figure. But really, really awesome. I like how they added the axe as well. He's got that knife in that sheath there. He's got the axe. And the helmet does come off, as you can see there. The original Ares did not have that shadowing in the eyes, so this is a new thing. But I think it looks pretty good. And I liked Ares a lot. Ares was actually part of the, I think he was part of the Mighty Avengers back then in the comic storyline. He was killed, spoiler alert, by Sentry. So check that out if that interests you. He was ripped in half. It was pretty brutal. But I do like Ares. I believe he came back in Contest of Champions, which was a recent comic that came out. But very, very cool looking figure. All right, moving on to Loki. Awesome, awesome Tom Hiddleston head sculpt there. The helmet is removable, as you can see. I like to display it with the helmet on. But that's a great, great face sculpt right there. I do think that he is slightly undersized because he is a tall actor. He's about the same height as Chris Hemsworth, I believe. But as you can see here, he's much smaller in figure form than the Thor figure, which I'll get to in just a second. But overall, I do still like this figure. I love the face sculpt. It's a great face sculpt. I wish he came with the knives that you keep seeing in the trailers. He doesn't come with any weapons. But let me show you this one up close. Very nice sculpt work in the costuming. And let me show you the back. This cape was kind of a pain in the butt to get on. Because it plugs into a couple ports in the shoulders there. And it was tough to get on. But I did get it in. I had to heat it up. But I got it in there. But there is Loki from Thor Ragnarok. Again, very cool face sculpt. It should be bigger. He should be taller. He should come with accessories like those little knives. So I think this is maybe like a C+, if I was to give it a letter grade. It could have been better, in my personal opinion. Moving on to the Thor from Thor Ragnarok. I do wish that the helmet was removable. That would have been a very, very nice touch, but it is not. It's sculpted onto his head. I also, another gripe that I have, minor gripe, is that little point on his chin. Every one that I've seen, it's kind of missing the facial hair paint apps there, so it just looks like he's got like a tumor on his chin. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty decent figure. This is the version, based on the trailers, this is the version where he's in the arena, and he's the gladiator, and he's about to fight this guy. But not a bad figure. Just a couple minor gripes. Decent articulation. My swords are, they feel like they're always like curved or bent. You could tell that sword right there is like kind of warped. But nothing that a hairdryer, space heater, or hot water won't fix. But this is the Thor from the Thor Ragnarok wave. Moving on to Hela. I think this is an excellent, excellent face sculpt of Cate Blanchett. I do think that this figure's too tall though, too large. Especially if, let me do this. I'm going to compare it with the Loki and just look at the size difference. Let me take his helmet off. Look at the size difference here. She almost towers over him. And I have this in a pose where her knees are bent. So she is not at her tallest right now. I kind of posed her this way to make her a little shorter. The good thing about posing her this way with her knees bent is you can actually use the cape to balance her out. As you can see there, the bottom of the cape is resting on the nerd bar there to give her some additional balance. I do love the face sculpt though. I believe this is a retool of the body that was used for the Book of the Vishanti SDCC Marvel Legends multipack. I think they reused the body and then just made this new head sculpt, because this, it looks a lot like the head sculpt from that Book of the Vishanti SDCC pack. It's a very, very cool head sculpt. I love the like horns. Pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, she's too big. She's too big. He's too small. So, I mean, they look all right together. You could pose them in a certain way where they don't look ridiculous, but I just think they could have been tweaked a little bit to be more screen accurate, I guess. So that is the Hela. I'll show you the back of it before I move on. Just a cape, green cape. But pretty cool sculpt work in the body itself. Not too bad. And look at that face sculpt. Alright, so that is all the figures in this wave. If you do purchase all of the figures in this wave, you get all the parts to build the man, the incredible, this guy, Gladiator Hulk. And I will explain why I have the giant hammer posed this way in just a second. But this is a pretty frickin' awesome Build-A-Figure. I do like it a lot. Very, very happy to build this one. I will let you know that the armor on this arm was like twisted around the back. And I'm pretty sure that the armor is supposed to be like more flush on his arm. So I had to twist it. I had to heat it up and just kind of move it on his arm. But just an awesome, awesome looking figure, showing you the sculpt work on the sandals, the shoes, and the armor. Show you the arms and the paint work on there. He just looks awesome. I'm so excited for this movie. So the reason why I don't have this hammer in his hand is because it is very, very, right now it's bottom heavy, but when you have it in his hand, it's very top heavy. That hammer weighs a lot more than the handle, and it warps and bends extremely easily. So I basically just have it resting on the nerd bar there and have his hand on it so that that handle doesn't warp or bend. But let me give you the 360 on him. This is going to fall out of his hand because it's kind of just resting there. He also comes with this axe, which is pretty awesome. Here's the back. Show you the detail in the armor, the helmet. This is such a cool figure. This might be, I think this might be one of my favorite Build-A-Figures of the year as far as Marvel goes. I still haven't decided what my favorite Build-A-Figure of the year in general is. I really, really like the King Shark from DC Multiverse, but this is an excellent, excellent Build-A-Figure. I also like this guy, who's just kind of hanging out on the nerd bar. Vulture and the wings. But there you go. That's the entire wave. There's the Build-A-Figure. Gladiator Hulk. Fantastic, fantastic Build-A-Figure. I highly, highly recommend these. I hope the movie's excellent. It looks like it's going to be great. The way I look at it, you're getting basically 2 Build-A-Figures if you buy this wave, because this guy right here was a very, very expensive Build-A-Figure at one time. So you're getting this guy right here. He's an awesome figure. And then obviously you get this guy too. So I think you get a lot of value if you invest in this wave. Just a cool wave altogether. Alright, so before I get to the SDCC Thor pack, I'm going to show you these real quick. This is a 2-pack. I thought this was an exclusive. I thought this was an Entertainment Earth exclusive, but I found this at Target. It is the Starlord and Ego 2-pack, as you can see there. This is not a straight up repack. This Starlord does have a new face sculpt, as you can see right there. That is a different face sculpt than the previous single pack version. I think this is a pretty darn good face sculpt too. I think it looks pretty good. He does come with the masked version as well. I think the body's pretty much identical though to the single pack version, but you're pretty much just getting a new head sculpt right there. And the main draw for this 2-pack is obviously Kurt Russell's character, Ego, the Living Planet. Spoiler alert. Does come with this additional head sculpt there. Let me see if I can focus. Kind of a more passive head sculpt there. More passive expression on his face versus a more aggressive expression on his face there. I'm not going to get into any more spoilers. You got to see the movie to find out why he has a couple different expressions on his face. But I like this figure a lot. I think this is a great sculpt. Great mold. I just really like it a lot. It looks cool. I'll show you the side. Detail in the gauntlet there. Excellent, excellent detail. Excellent molding. Look at the hair. Marvel Legends has really, really stepped up their game in the last, I would say in the last year or so. They just, they've taken it to a new level with molding, sculpting, paint apps. Just looks fantastic. And here's the other profile view. But a very, very cool figure. I do like this figure a lot. $40 is a bit expensive considering you're pretty much just getting a new head sculpt there. It's the same body. This Ego is really, really cool. I would say if you can find this for like under 40, like 30 bucks, 35, maybe less, 25, definitely pull the trigger because this Ego is a very, very cool figure. I like it a lot. Moving on to the Winter Soldier, Steve Rogers, Captain America stealth suit. I've been wanting this one for a while. And Transfan 2's Shop and Look had it. 22 bucks. Couldn't pass up on it yet again. This is probably one of my favorite suits that he's had in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I really, really loved The Winter Soldier. It is my favorite Marvel movie. So I didn't want to pass up on this one and not have it. He does come with a couple extra hands there. He's got the pointing hand, another fisted hand. He does come with the masked head sculpt there. I like this unmasked version, even though it doesn't really look like Chris Evans. It's just a cool looking figure. I like the shield, the blue and silver shield. Show you the 360 on this one. Some detail on the back with the straps. And if I can see how close I can get here, show you some of the details in the, it actually says Rogers on his shoulder there. It's got an American flag. Pretty freaking awesome. Awesome details there. But this one, this is a few years old, but I still love this figure a lot. That is the Stealth Suit Captain America from Winter Soldier. Here's the moment you've all been waiting for, hopefully. This is the San Diego Comic-Con Thor multi-pack. This was an exclusive. I got lucky and found this on Hasbro's website when they solicited it. And quickly jumped on it. But just to go through these, I'm not going to take them out of package, but you can see, I mean, it's a double window, so you could see a lot of detail in these figures. The first one is Boar, and he is huge. He's a very large figure. Comes with that big battle axe there, comes with that shield. But just look at the detail on this thing. And I always get this wrong. I think he's Thor's grandfather. Isn't he Odin's father? Comment below if you know the relationship there, but I think Boar is Thor's grandpa. Really, really cool looking figure though. And again, he's very tall. Moving on to Malekith. He comes with this pretty badass looking sword. And I'm looking at these figures trying to figure out if they've reused any parts, because I'm not recognizing a lot of the bodies and parts on these, so these might be new molds. Correct me if I'm wrong, but really, really cool looking. I like it a lot. The Malekith looks pretty darn good. Detail on the hair there. Great paint apps. But moving on, here is the Jane Foster Thor. And I've got the single pack out to show you the differences. Let me see if I can show you the difference in paint apps here. Alright, so as you can see, the single pack has a lighter tone in that ankle strap than the SDCC version. SDCC is like a darker brown. It looks like that the pants might be the same color. It's like a dark blue, navy blue. You can see that little piece right there, I don't know what that's officially called, but it is a lighter tan versus a grayish brown on the SDCC version. Mjolnir is silver on the single pack version, and on this version it's blue. Almost looks translucent. Really looks cool. I like this Mjolnir a lot. And let's see what other differences we have. I think the rest of the figure might be the same. Let's compare head sculpts. I think the head sculpts are about the same. The eyes might be a little different. On the single pack, as you can see, she's got like the little white dots for the eyes, and in this version it looks like she's got blue. So a few differences here and there. I think the main draw is that Mjolnir. That's a really cool looking Mjolnir. And then the fact that it's got the darker paint scheme versus the lighter paint scheme on the single pack version. But that's the Jane Foster Thor. Not too bad. Moving on to this Odinson, which is the Odinson in current day, who got his arm chopped off. Spoiler alert. And he's got that metal arm now. And he is unworthy because he thinks he's unworthy. I didn't really like the explanation they gave as to why he suddenly became unworthy. Where he was whispered something on the moon and he suddenly could not pick up Mjolnir anymore. Basically self-doubt. Spoiler alert. He doesn't think he's worthy. He doubts himself, so he can't pick up the hammer. I'm not caught up on Thor, so I'm not sure if that situation has rectified itself, but that's basically what happened. So I have this one out here, and they do look different, very different. Young Thor, current day Thor. You can see that the head sculpts are different. This one's clean shaven. This one, different face sculpt, and he's got the facial. He's got the beard. This one, he's got a shirt on. This one, he's shirtless. But as you can see, if you just look closely, it is the same body. It's the same mold. They just painted it differently. Because this shirt, it's not raised or anything. It's just paint. So they painted a shirt on this one versus they painted chest hair on this one. The arms are different. Obviously, this one's got the metal arm. This one does not have a metal arm. But you could see like some similarities. Like he's got that rope belt on the SDCC version. He's got a rope belt on the single pack version as well. You compare the boots. He's got like those kind of light tan yellowish straps. And he's got, it's the same boots. It's just a different paint scheme. Kind of like a grayish brown there. And then it's the same cape. As you can see there, he's got the buckle up near the shoulder, buckle up near the shoulder. He's got the tatters in there. There's tatters in that cape. So it's the same cape, just different colors. This one's bright red. This one's like a dark maroonish color, brownish red. But this is an awesome figure. There's enough differences where they don't even look like the same figure. But if you get up close and start comparing them, it's the same mold. But I do like this Odinson a lot. It's pretty badass. And especially if you're reading Thor currently, this is one you probably want in your collection because this is the current Thor. Alright, and last but not least in this showcase video is Ulik, or Ulik, the troll, who looks awesome. Very, very cool. It looks like they might have reused some parts from Rhino, the Rhino Build-A-Figure, because he's got the little holes in his shoulders there, where I believe Rhino had like shoulder pad armor that he wore. So it might reuse some of those. Yeah, I think the feet are also from Rhino as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I do like this figure a lot. I love the green metallic paint on the armor. Looks pretty badass. Obviously the head is a new sculpt, new mold. The hands are pretty new. I don't think that any other figure uses hands like that with those knuckle weapons, whatever the hell those things are. But I really like this one a lot. This is one of my favorite figures in this multi-pack. I would say this one, I really, really like the boar figure. It's so big and badass looking. Those two are, the two on the ends are my two favorites from this multi-pack. I do like Malekith. I like the current day Odinson. And the Jane Foster is a nice addition as well. But the Ulik and Boar are the two ones that I like the most. Plus, they're really big figures. It's like having two Build-A-Figures in this wave here. Because that thing's gigantic, and he's big too. This is basically like the same size as the Rhino figure. But there you go. Hopefully you liked this showcase. Hopefully this gave you an idea of this multi-pack, if this is something you want to invest in, if you want to buy it for yourself. But there you go. Alright, so that is it for this episode. I thank you for joining me on this All Marvel Legends Showcase episode. Hope you appreciate it, hope you enjoyed it, hope you have a better idea if these things are something that you want to invest in or buy yourselves. But the next episode is also going to be all showcase. I'm going to showcase the entire King Shark wave. The DC Multiverse King Shark wave. Show you all those figures and show you the Build-A-Figure as well on that. I'm also planning on sharing a couple other things in that video. Some WWE Elite figures, and then possibly a Mezco 112 Collective Arsenal figure, which is also DC related. So look forward to that. And then I also have another showcase coming after that, because I just got a notification that I'm getting a new Hot Toys figure shipped to my house on Wednesday. I'm getting the Harley Quinn Suicide Squad Hot Toys figure. So I never showcased the Deadshot, so I might do the Harley Quinn and the Deadshot in one episode and show you what those look like up close. But I'm really looking forward to that Harley Quinn. As soon as that one was solicited, that was one of the ones that I pre-ordered. So very, very happy to be receiving that one. I also do eventually have to show you the Mezco Shadowland Daredevil that I was able to pick up. So I'll be showcasing that one as well in a future episode, possibly with the Ant-Man SH Figuarts figure, which I never had a chance to show as well. So I think the next few episodes are all going to be showcase episodes. So hopefully you enjoy these. But I do want to thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing my videos. Absolutely appreciate it. We're on the road to 10,000 subscriptions. Again, I'm going to do a pretty nice giveaway at 10,000 subs. I'm going to do a Hot Toys figure at 10,000 subs, and possibly some more stuff as well. I just haven't decided, but look forward to that. Again, I appreciate it, but as always, have fun collecting. And how can you not have fun collecting when you're getting stuff like this? Gladiator Hulk, really looking forward to the movie, but there you go. Highly recommend this. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.